What's going on, people? It's your boy Astro, aka the Galaxy Shogun, and I think we got something real fun for you today. So, I was on X, which is only second to TikTok for some pretty insane anime discourse, but I was looking through One Piece memes as I do, and I came onto a pretty interesting conversation. A lot of Shonen MCs don't really change their outfit. Luffy in particular, and I guess all the Straw Hats, we're pretty spoiled. We get a ton of cool outfits, like, especially now, it's basically guaranteed any new arc you go into, you're getting a new outfit. So, I saw this tweet from this person, Liz, here, and basically it shows all of the outfits. For those of you who don't know, this is obviously a screen grab from the Egghead opening. It's pretty cool. He does this walking thing where it's going through all of his outfits in the show, or most of them at least, and yeah, it's pretty nuts to just kind of see all of them there, including Elbaf, which someone added. I'm not sure if it was her that added it, but it's pretty useful for this. So let's go ahead and rank these outfits. What is Luffy's most fire fit? I like streetwear, I indulge in all that stuff, at least I used to when I had money and I wasn't a father, but I figured I still have a little bit of an opinion on this type of stuff. So let's see what the best outfits are. At the end, I'm going to rank my top 3, and we'll quickly just do a little bit of background history, go through all of them. There's 21 of them, so we won't take a super long time with each. We want to keep this video short. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so starting here, obviously, from the beginning of the show, his East Blue outfit, the most classic pre-time skip Luffy outfit there is. So this outfit, you got the jean shorts with the frills kind of at the bottom, and then you got, or I guess, is that felt? I'm not sure what you would even call that material, but anyways, you got the jean shorts going on, little John Cena action, and then the red vest. So this is iconic Luffy. Can't say anything bad about it. It's when you imagine Luffy pre-time skip, this is what you're gonna think. Buttons closed, can't go wrong with that. So real simple stuff there. Everyone should basically recognize this first one here. On to the second one. So this outfit here, and I really hope nobody skipped early One Piece. That's a whole other video, but this one should be easily recognizable because this was a very iconic scene. He's missing one of his sleeves because this is actually Drum Island. So he gets bombed by Wapol while trying to protect Chopper and the Doctor's flag, and basically he does the iconic scene like, you can't destroy that flag, this flag isn't a joke, and he basically, instead of letting the flag break, he rips off his sleeve and kind of ties the flag back together. It's a really, really iconic One Piece scene. So I'm hoping that if you're a One Piece fan, you did skip it, because especially arcs where you get new Nakama, you definitely don't want to be skipping those. You don't want to skip anything except filler, really, but yeah. So that's a pretty iconic scene. I like the one sleeve. This is actually Nami's jacket. So this is Nami's coat. Nami lets Luffy borrow it to go fight Wapol. So yeah, that's pretty cool, this one here. All right, let's move on to the next one, number 3. So this is the beginning of Alabasta, because the next 3 are technically all Alabasta, and I say technically, I'll touch on that later, but so this first one here is the early Alabasta fit. When they first get to Alabasta, they all change into the clothes, because they're in the desert, and they want to fit in, of course. So basically, this is the fit that I think he meets Ace with, and initially he gets caught with Smoker. He takes it off soon after that, but he also gets lost in the desert. I'm pretty sure that's it, where he gets lost in the desert, and that's the fit he's wearing. And then basically when he encounters Smoker and Ace, I think yeah, his cover's basically blown by that point. But yeah, this is the early Alabasta fit, so I really like this overcoat, and also, the head wrapping is pretty cool for the desert environment, so that's a pretty dope one. I do like that one. All right, next, we got the end of Alabasta fit. So we're jumping around a little bit. This is what he wears actually when Robin joins the crew, if I remember correctly. Just basically, while they're on the ship and leaving Alabasta, if my memory serves me right, I think I have okay memory with One Piece. He's wearing this fit when Robin appears, and then he tells the rest of the Straw Hats she's going to be joining the crew, and then she does like the hand thing to kind of get Usopp on board while he's wearing that outfit, if I remember correctly. I think this robe is super cool. It's badass. Low-key, one of his best fits, I think. It's just super simple with the red sash. Like, you can't go wrong. It's fire. Next, we actually have, and I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong with this one, but he still has the black mark over his hand. I'm not sure specifically what that entails, because he did have the X there, which is the reason that I'm going to say that's from Alabasta, the whole Vivi iconic X scene. However, I would have assumed that this would have went chronologically, which he's wearing the fit in the middle. for that scene, if I remember correctly. So, you know, maybe I gotta go back and check, but this here is just his regular fit, but it's open. Perhaps this is just Jaya. Maybe he had it open when he fought Bellamy, so I'm thinking this is the era that this is, which would make sense chronologically, so I take that back. But this could also be the end of Alabasta during the crocodile fight, because he is also wearing red, and he would... I guess he wouldn't have that on his arm anymore, but yeah, it's a little confusing specifically what this one is from. There's been a few times where he's kind of had the red vest open, so yeah. Alright, so that one was definitely the most confusing one. Let's move on. Alright, so one of the best ones, Afro Luffy. So, very iconic Afro Luffy, Foxy. Once again, Foxy arc is canon. It's before one of the best arcs in the series, or one of the best sagas, being Water 7 and Enies Lobby. So yeah, I'm hoping people didn't skip it. I understand that the whole Foxy thing really felt like filler, but it teaches us about Davy back fights, and we get to see Luffy come out as a boxer, Afro Luffy, so it was really dope to see that. Alright, so again, if I think about it though, if this is Afro Luffy, that's before Water 7, so I guess Luffy doesn't really change his clothes there, because this orange is actually Thriller Bark, so it goes directly from the Foxy arc to Thriller Bark, and I would assume that's because Luffy doesn't wear different clothes in that arc. Now I could be wrong, but I'm just going off of memory right now. So here we are, we're Thriller Bark. You know, he changes his pants color, you know, it's kind of like a lighter orangey tone, and then obviously has a very orange vest, so it was cool to see him like make such a drastic change for the vest that he's wearing in this arc. So yeah, Thriller Bark, basically, he liked orange. And yeah, let's move that. So that was Thriller Bark, and I'm moving this thing here so everybody can know what I'm talking about. Sorry that I just missed Thriller Bark there. Okay, so next we have, yeah, so this blue one here, this would be Sabaody. Can't forget that. He's wearing... Oh, so he already has the treasure on his arm, so that's interesting. That's the treasure that he gets at the end of Thriller Bark. So yeah, absolutely he's wearing that during that. This is the thing that Buggy was like really searching for. So that's actually how he bribed Buggy to get him to help him. But anyways, I digress. This blue outfit, how could we forget? Sabaody Archipelago might be my favorite arc, or is at least top 3, because the world just goes, you know, like the world just grows exponentially, and that's one of the reasons One Piece is so goated, right? The character building, like the world building, it's kind of insane. So I could never forget this. Also, punching the Celestial Dragon in the face, you know, hopefully you've seen that scene if you're here at this video, you know. It's a One Piece channel, can't really not spoil given that, but anyways, that was a pretty badass scene. I don't think anyone could forget this outfit. It's cold. It's cold. So this next one is real funny, because this is after he gets sent away. So so you know what happens at the end with Kuma, all the Straw Hats get separated, he kind of saves them in that sense, and basically he ends up on Bull Hancock's island. So he ends up, you know, in the forest being hunted by the Kudra pirates, and basically Margaret, like after, they originally think he's a female, they change his clothes, he ends up in jail, and they gave him this this outfit with a bunch of frills and stuff, and he doesn't like it. He ends up like yelling about it, and yeah, so that was a pretty funny scene overall. We see with the next one, it's basically just the same outfit modified with it taken off, all of the frills taken off by the Kuja pirates. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. Amazon Lily, it's pretty funny that it starts off like with all of them mistaking him as a female, and then you know, ultimately he gets a fix up. This one is not looking too cool, you know. It's kind of some Murakami inspired flower stuff going on here, but I definitely think that by the end, when Margaret modifies it, or whoever does it, Sweet Pea or who else, it takes all those frills off, it looks much better. So yeah, this is when he's actually heading into Impel Down. So he heads into Impel Down, and you can see he's still wearing the armband. He meets Buggy, Crocodile, all the people. I have my opinions on Impel Down. I think I hold a pretty like unpopular view on that arc. But anyways, so Impel Down, this is the beginning of it, because as you'll see, this one beside him when he's wearing the yellow, also very iconic because it's, you know, another arc as well. But he loses it in between because again he gives it to Buggy in order to be able to you know, get him on his side, so to speak, because it's treasure that he had been looking for, and by he I mean Buggy, for some time. So what he gets from Thriller Bark, he finally gets rid of it going into Marineford. So you know, he gets stuck on one of the levels, and he meets Ivankov, and obviously we have Mr. 2, you know, Bon Clay, our homie Bon Clay, doing a lot of the heavy lifting here. So, you know, basically once he gets poisoned and Ivankov and everyone else takes care of him. He switches to this yellow outfit and then meets up with Blackbeard, and we are off to Marineford. So Marineford, we know how that goes. Pretty iconic. You know, he's wearing the yellow on top with a kind of reddish tone. I don't think we've seen that tone of like shorts before, and that's fair because this is, you know, something he got technically from the jail and from Ivankov and crew, so it makes sense that this is kind of a completely new outfit. But yeah, not too different overall. We got yellow and then just a slightly different shade of red for his pants. So yeah, Marineford, that's over. We move on to post time skip, because it's basically just flashbacks after that. I think he goes back to his regular outfit when Jinbei consoles him and all that, or he's really just bandaged up. But besides that, you know, we got the first outfit of post-time skip. This is probably the second most iconic outfit, given that most merchandise and figures are probably Luffy wearing this. This is directly after his time on Ruskaina. I believe he got this outfit from Bo Hancock, which makes sense with the frills, a little Amazon Lily inspired there. But yeah, it's super cool. It's red. It's just like a long sleeve version of the vest that he's kind of wearing, except the buttons are less prominent. Obviously, he's now sporting the X on his chest. He's now also wearing the yellow sash, which is dope. I think that touch is just chef's kiss. So yeah, you can't go wrong with this. This is definitely one of my favorite outfits. I do happen to prefer his post time skip outfit more than his pre time skip outfit. Sorry, that's my opinion on that one. Okay, so next, this is Punk Hazard. They actually steal these coats. They steal these coats, I think, from the people that were working for Caesar. I believe they were centaurs, but yeah, they steal this coat, and it's a pretty funny scene where they all kind of have the demonic look on their face. They're all so cold, so they go ahead and steal it. He looks like a candy cane. What else can I say? It's nice nonetheless, but he looks like a candy cane. Oop, I made that a little too big. Let's move that. So now we're moving on to one of my absolute favorites. So Dressrosa, you know, a lot of people have a lot of things to say about Dressrosa. I don't know if, well, I would assume that if you're here for One Piece, you also know the Grand Line Review, huge channel. He has a One Piece Dressrosa documentary. And just to add a little bit to the Astro lore, you know, I pop up in videos every once in a while. I am actually in that video in a few different spots. Like, no joke. He did like a submission for content creators to like, you know, give their opinion on Dressrosa, and I'm in it saying, you know, it's some pretty harsh stuff. Dressrosa had its ups, had its downs. I think it's definitely way too long in the anime, of course, and the manga even as well. But one thing that I'll say is that his outfit, you know, his Lucy outfit, you know, kind of Master Roshi inspired. It's interesting that they didn't put the beard on it, but yeah, like, I guess this is just entering Dressrosa. The flowers, like the sunflowers on the shirt, it's dope. It's fire. It's definitely one of my favorites, so we'll see where it lands by the end of this. So then next, we got him legitimately in the Colosseum fighting. This could be Sabo, but I'm pretty sure it's Luffy. It's hard to kind of see his face, but this armor here with Lucy, he's again fighting in the Colosseum here, trying to win Ace's fruit. So this is him specifically in his Colosseum-inspired outfit. It's cool. It's cool, but not my favorite. I definitely prefer the other Dressrosa one more. Next, we have the beginning of Whole Cake Island. So this is when he fights Cracker. There's a few different outfit changes. But this one's pretty cool. Very like Alice in Wonderland, like kind of Disney inspired, like nice loose white. You know, he's wearing the same yellow sash, so I think that's a pretty nice touch that it's like basically a mix of a lot of things he had worn before with a new top. So I do actually like that one quite a bit. So next we have this one. And perhaps this is where Sanji got his suit from. Maybe he asked to borrow, you know, this blazer from Luffy after the fact, because this is pretty darn close to what Sanji wears Onigashima raid. But yeah, red suit, you can't go wrong. Mafia style with the hat covering the straw hat. I do quite like this one, and of course we got the Katakuri fight while he was wearing this. So yeah, this is definitely fire. Next, we got the beginning of Wano Kuni. Luffy is wearing kimono. So, you know, Wano, obviously very Japanese inspired. I mean, One Piece is Japanese. It's a Japanese show. It's an anime. But, you know, it's nice to see Luffy wearing a kimono. I think that in some movies and some other, like, OVA not canon stuff, we've obviously seen that before. I think that there is some filler episodes, right before the climax of Enies Lobby, I think, where they're like wearing kimonos and stuff like that. But this is one time in the actual canon that we get to see him like wearing it with the patches, so it's super cool. This in fact is not Luffy, it is Luffy Taro, so this is a really cool one too, to see him in more traditional Japanese wear. Besides that, we have the Onigashima outfit, which is crazy. Episode 1015, how could you ever forget this outfit right here? You know, he's wearing he's like very Shanksy with the cape, and yeah, he's got yellow pants. Basically the outfits are the same, but the difference is he has a purple sash, and this is really cool because I'm sure Oda was thinking that this is kind of the baseline, the starting point, or I guess the base for Gear 5th, right? Because in Gear 5th he still has the purple sash, and then everything else kind of turns white. So you know, when I look at this, it's good vibes because I see Shanks, who's the GOAT for me, and then I also see, you know, some early signs of Gear 5, because obviously this is the outfit that he wears when he ultimately goes Gear 5. So next, we have Egghead, and Egghead is cool. If I were ranking, like, actual places in the One Piece world, I think Egghead would rank pretty high. I like a lot of people's outfits in Egghead, especially Zoro. I actually have an Egghead Zoro figure. Can I pull this real quick? Gotta love secondhand stores in Japan. I think that was seriously like $9. Gotta love it. But yeah, Luffy's fit, it's cool and it's different, but it's not my favorite. I think it's pretty cool when he goes Gear 5th and he's wearing like the boots and everything else. But other than that, like, yeah, it's cool, it's futuristic, but not my cup of tea, I suppose. And then obviously we got Elbaf here. So once again, thank you to whoever added this here. We have his Elbaf fit, which it's just hard. The Norse mythology, the Vikings, like the axe on his back, like especially in the manga recently, we saw him go Gear 5th and the horns are like fused with his head. Chef's kiss. Like I just love it. I'm a big fan of like that type of like Viking type fashion, you know, in shows like this. At least I'd never go around wearing a helmet. Who knows, in like 10 years maybe that'll be the fashion trend. But yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at with all that. I think that you know, all of these are pretty good examples, again, of what this tweet was originally saying. Like, you know, Luffy versus a lot of other MCs. Like, Naruto doesn't really change his clothes. I don't believe so. Ichigo, he changes his clothes a bit. Like, one thing that I'll say about Bleach, their fashion is really, really, really dope. But, you know, One Piece, like, just about every arc, and this is just Luffy. I could do videos like this for just about every Straw Hat. But we're getting kind of around the 20-minute mark, and I definitely wanted to make sure it was less than that. In fact, 20 minutes is like the high limit. So anyways, let's go ahead and award the prizes. So we got the bronze, we got the silver, we got the gold. I'm just going to take a second here to think. Okay, so I'm pretty sure I know what I'm going to give the bronze medal to. So the bronze medal, I think the bronze medal will actually go to, boom, post-time skip Luffy. Iconic. I really like this outfit. It's badass. He's looking cut. He's looking like he's on some ketogenic, you know, 48-hour fasting, high-protein diet. The abs, you know, all chiseled. It's looking good. The X is cool. I like it. It's the first time we see like that iconic X on his chest that he obviously got Marine for it from Akainu. So yeah, I was pretty lucky that it healed in such a cool manner. So anyways, that is going to be the bronze medal. I'm giving it to post-time skip Luffy. In terms of the silver medal, this is tough. There's definitely some that are like really iconic and that I really like, but I just gotta go with my heart here. I think that I'm going to go ahead and give the silver medal to Dressrosa, early Dressrosa Luffy. And I'm giving it to early Dressrosa Luffy because, in fact, I'm pretty sure he goes Gear 4th while wearing that too. So it's not even fair to say early Dressrosa Luffy because he wears that as he defeats Doflamingo and as he goes Gear 4th as well. So excuse me if I said otherwise, but this is technically early and late Dressrosa Luffy. It's just him while he's, you know, doing stuff, fighting Doflamingo, all that good stuff. Which, by the way, Doflamingo is my favorite villain. So even though I have bad things to say about the Dressrosa arc, love the characters in that arc. So yeah, so that's definitely going to get the silver medal, so congrats. This is something that I would wear. You know, I'm a little out of shape now, being a dad, you know, whatever else, life. I'm getting there. I'm getting back on the horse. But I think that this outfit is really, really, really dope. And it's something that I definitely wear. You know, once I get the six-pack back and going, definitely be something I'd want to wear in the summer. Miami vibes, you know? So, all right. So, without further delay, let's get to number one. So, my number one, and this might actually be surprising, and it's really tough, actually, because I'm going to say that I really want to either give it to 10-15 Luffy, like this Luffy that originally becomes Gear 5 Luffy with the Shanks cape, or Elbaf. And honestly, I think I'm going to give it to Elbaf because though, you know, this is pretty iconic here, looking like Shanks with the cape and it's badass, and him fighting Kaido and Wano, I like Wano more than Egghead, and I will post a video on that eventually. Like, Wano was a great arc for me because I think it gives viewers and it addresses a lot of the critique that One Piece has had up to that point, but that's a whole nother conversation. But like, even though, you know, I really like Wano Kuni, I can't let that bias blind me. Like, this Luffy with the horns and the Viking inspired Elbaf motif, we've been waiting for Elbaf literally since Luffy looked like this, or this, I suppose, like somewhere around here, talking about giants and stuff, because Little Garden was in and around this point, and, you know, we've wanted to go there for so long, and now he's wearing a nice red cape, so he has a cape as well. He's got the Viking helmet, he's got a big axe on his back, a nice belt with a sun on it. Let's not forget that. And he even changed his shoes. It's not often that he changes to slippers. He's only done it for Afro Luffy, he's only done it for Egghead, and he's also done it for Elbaf. He has like these things kind of covering his legs, like his shins, so like shin guards in a sense. So I think that's really cool. And again, Year 5 Elbaf Luffy looks amazing, phenomenal. So that's where we're at. Went a little longer than I had hoped, but, you know, hopefully this could be one of those videos that you can just put in the background as you cook or as you go to sleep or anything. Use it however you want to. Anyways, it's been your boy Astro, aka the Galaxy Shogun. Thank you so much if you made it to the end of the video. And if you like this type of content or have any other, you know, photos, tweets, stuff like that you want me to make content around, please let me know. I want to make a lot of content, and I am more than open to your suggestions. So thanks a lot, and once again, if you're new to the channel, go ahead, hit that subscribe button. If you've already done it and you've seen me from, you know, that very viral video I was in, thank you so much for checking out my content. Road to 1,000 subscribers. I would seriously cry when that happens. Anyways, I have more videos to record, so peace.